This is a great development. 10,000 Americans retire every day. We're not dying when we're 62 or 3 or 4. We're living till we're 92 or 3 or 4. This is an avalanche. That's all great stuff. But this is a tidal wave of expense hitting us. And right now your country hasn't had the courage to figure out how to talk about this. Everybody pays into Medicare, right? Hold on. You're starting to bug me. I like you. Everybody pays into Medicare. But right now, the average recipient on Medicare right now is getting about 3.5 times what they paid into it in their working life. They're getting 3.5 times that in health care coverage. And that difference is growing year after year. I want Medicare around for my kids, and I want it around for your kids. And if we don't do something to it and fix it, it won't. And when Tammy Duckworth says, don't do anything to it, I scratch my head and I say, well then, Miss Duckworth, you're going to let it die. Don't let it die. Quickly.
Okay, quickly. When they put in Social Security in 1938, when it passed, okay, the average life expectancy in the United States was 59.5. Unfortunately, we had World War II after that. And with World War II, we used penicillin, and life expectancy jumped to 65. And today, our life expectancy is 85. And when the Congress passed Social Security to take a 2% tax from us at that time in 1938, they never anticipated paying it out because they didn't think people would live long enough.
Okay, great. And so I'll throw more math at you. You're right. By the way, you and I agree on everything. When we started Social Security, 42 workers supported every one retired person. And as you said, that retired person didn't live as long. Right now, 2.5 workers are supporting one retired person. In another 20 to 30 years, that will be flipped. Now, do you want to do that to your kids? Because then the only way you sustain it is that worker 10, 20 years from now, oh my God, everything they're making is going to go in taxes to support all these retired people. So all I'm saying is, we can't do this to the next 1 or 2 or 3 generations. Come on, country, let's grow up. This is math. Let's fix these programs so they'll be around. And right now you got the other side, and I know Republicans play politics with plenty of issues. But when it comes to Medicare and Social Security and Medicaid, this is one where the Democrats don't even want to look at. Tammy Duckworth was in front of the Chicago Tribune editorial board, and they asked her just what I'm telling you now. Miss Duckworth, do you understand that Medicare is going to be gone in 8 years? And she said, I'm not ready to look at that. And she kept saying that. Yeah, that's just irresponsible. What else, guys? Any subject?
There's not going to be a problem because we're going to be dead. The seniors are all going to be dead. They're going to kill us off because they're not going to give us what we need. It's not going to be an issue.
Well, that's a problem.
Well, no, not really. Not
well, okay,
a
problem for
us.
The next couple generations too.
Yeah.
Not if we can't get the care that we need. We'll be gone. It won't make a difference at that point.
Right. And Obamacare won't help when it comes to getting the care that you need.
Right.
What else, folks?
One word, Soylent Green.
How do you get Congress to work together?
How do you get Congress to work together?
With a gun.
Great question.
The fine act of politics is supposed to be compromised, and we're not there yet.
Yeah. And you're right. If you really truly want to get anything done important in Washington, both sides have to be there. And that's the really unfortunate thing about Obamacare. Remember, when we passed Medicare and Medicaid in the 1960s, Republican and Democrat support. Obamacare was all Democrat. So you knew right from the beginning, that's not right. You can't remake our health care and just have one side on it. And I think that's why the country is still saying, I don't like it. So you're right, eventually we got to come together. And I hope after this election, no matter how it shakes out, we can come together. I mean, this last year, both sides have just been fighting and, you know, everybody's trying to get reelected. But I really hope after this election, we'll get serious about reforming these entitlement programs, and I hope we get serious about tax reform. We somehow got to change this crazy, well, yeah, I mean, your folks in Illinois got to get serious about the pension problem.
Yes.
They're just as bad.
Yeah,
Where did they learn it
pensions are
from?
just as
But I am hopeful that after this election, we will come together. But I'm also not naive, and I don't want you to be naive either. It has taken this country 80, 90 years to get into this mess. We are not going to fix it with one election. So we all need to be a little bit more patient, and the last thing I'll say, and this may not win me any votes, I think we've all been asleep for years. The country is finally waking up. I'd rather we fight than we slept. Because right now, Republicans and Democrats are fighting, and I know sometimes it's ugly, but you know what? We're debating really important things. We've been asleep for a long time, and it's Republicans and Democrats that have gotten us into this mess, where we have a government right now we literally can't afford. And if we don't fix that real quick, our kids and our grandkids will never forgive us. So that's worth fighting about, but the sooner we can come together, the better. Yes, ma'am.
How do we come together? And you know, I am a Walsh supporter.
Oh, I don't believe that.
But a lot, you know, I was telling you what different people are telling me, and people tell me Joe Walsh is
He
obstructionist.
just doesn't reach across the
He
aisle.
just doesn't reach across the aisle.
I have said, and I'm going to say it again, when it comes to placing one more dollar of debt on our kids and our grandkids, I will never compromise on that. Second, when it comes to placing one more tax dollar or regulation on top of any American or American business, I won't compromise on that. Underneath that, oh gosh, I'll compromise on a lot. And here's what I think might happen. So to answer those folks, if they just think I'm an obstructionist and I never compromise, then I guess what you can tell them is, see what happens after this election. He went there to help shake up the country. We've done a pretty good job of that. And now that I think the country sort of woke up, I think after this election, I'm hoping now we can sit down. Let's see if now we can sit down. I know we can't go like this forever. But I think the deal is, I think there are a lot of Democrats who, the minute this election's over, they want to simplify the tax code too. And they really do want to do something about Medicare and Social Security. They just can't say that now because Obama and the Democratic Party won't let them. But I think once you get past an election, I think there's a great chance for Republicans and Democrats to come together. You can tell anybody you want. That's certainly what I'm going to try to work to do.
How about the Senate?
But, hold on. I am never going to shake hands with any Republican or Democrat, and I'm a Republican, if it leads to placing any more debt on our kids' heads. I refuse to do that. The first bill I introduced in Congress, was a balanced budget amendment, which just basically said, government, you can't spend any more than you take in any year. I'm on a bill. How about this one, guys? Why don't we pass this bill? It's called No Budget, No Pay. You know what it says? If you're a member of the House or a member of the Senate, and you don't pass a budget that year for the whole year, guess what? You don't get paid that year.
And expenses too.
There are Republicans and Democrats on that bill.
Do you need both houses?
Yes, you would need both houses to have to pay that.
Never get it.
Call John Boehner, call Nancy Pelosi, call Harry Reid, tell them bring up no budget, no pay. Bring it up for a vote. There'd be plenty of Republicans and Democrats that would love that. I don't think we should get paid if we don't do our basic job, which is passing a budget.
Right.
Shame on us.
And you know what the real difference is between a Democrat and a Republican is?
Be respectful.
I am. Two people have said that, okay? My father and Glenn Beck. And that is, the only difference between a Democrat and a Republican is one's in, the other's trying to get in. Because anytime they come in and they change parties, what they do, they stay with the same old story going all along, instead of doing reform like they're supposed to. You, on the other hand, have shown that you're doing some reform, okay, and staying with it. But we need more Republicans or more people that are elected that are going to do reform that are elected. That's the most important thing.
You know why I know I've done a pretty good job? Because I'm the #1 enemy of the Democrats, and even my own Republican leadership and establishment doesn't love me.
Right.
They're mad at me.
Good.
So that tells me we're on the right track, because I'm a Republican, both parties have taken us down this path. And the difference between Republicans and Democrats is, Democrats love big government, so they really believe in it, so they want to get everybody on government. Republicans just lose their way, and they sort of crawl in the same direction. Somebody needs to stick up for all the rest of us out here, and not the government. We don't belong to the government. Remember, that's what the Democrats said at their
Government belongs
convention.
to us. It's we the people.
So maybe it's because I'm a former teacher that I take a longer view. I think the country's going through something right now, and they sent us in 2010 to go there and sort of shake up the country and help wake everybody up. And I think we've done that, and now that more people are paying attention, I really hope after this election, people are ready to finally sit down and do what's right. And I'll be right there with them. What else?
You know what, one more thing. They want us to give up, which is right, but why shouldn't the people working in Congress be giving up too? Their benefits are way too much, they can collect way too many pensions when they go from job to job to job, and that's all the American money that they're taking. And why can't they live like we do? The same kind of insurance, the same kind of pension, the same kind of
You know why?
benefits.
You know why?
Because they're greedy.
Because they think they're different than you,
Right,
and
they think they're better than, right.
So they make laws which impact us,
Right.
and not them.
Absolutely.
Again, it's why, look, I'm on a bill that says no member of Congress should have a pension. I introduced a bill that said term limits for all of us. 435 members of Congress, how many do you think signed my term limit bill?
12.
10.
9.
Oh, God. I was giving you the benefit of the doubt.
Hey, this is the problem. Doesn't matter,
Right.
Republican or Democrat. They go there and they think they're kings and queens.
Right, absolutely.
It's not going to change unless we change it. We have to change it. Don't vote for anybody who's been there 10, 20, 30 years. Send them home, tell them to get a real job.
What are your feelings about people that have served in Congress not being allowed to work as lobbyists after they've served?
Absolutely. And there's a law in the books. I don't know how long the time is. It's either a year or two where I think they have to refrain, and then they can go lobby. I'm all for restrictions like that, because that's like the natural revolving door, right? I'm asked all the time, what do I want to do when I'm done with this? Oh my God, I would hate to be a lobbyist. I'm going to go back and teach and do something, or be out here. I will tell you though, here's why I'm starting to get a little optimistic. There are 87 Republican freshmen in my class. Most of us, men and women, have never run for office before. First timers. You want to know what my favorite story from last year was? Remember at the height of the debt ceiling fight, when everybody was like, oh, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? And Harry Reid came out of some White House meeting with Boehner and the Obama administration, and the TV cameras were put in front of him, and Harry Reid just got all excited, and he said, you know what? I cannot work with these House Republican freshmen. They don't care about their election, their next election. And I said, beautiful. That's the point. You see, guys like Harry Reid, all they can think about is, oh my God, I gotta get reelected. So hold on. So he's got people like me and others of my colleagues who didn't go there to worry about our next election. We don't need this job. I'll come home to my wife and kids, I'll find a job, and I'll be perfectly content. We're there because we just want to do our part, whether that's 2 years or 10. I thought that was just beautiful. Harry Reid nailed it. You're right, we're not driven by our next election. We're here to try to do good. however long that is.